Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So today we are in a new chapter from the 5th canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, chapter 20, studying the structure of the universe. For the next few weeks or so, we're going to be having fun, understanding, trying to see how we can be able to understand this structure of the universe based on the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which we are hopefully will be able to present in our temple of Vedic Planetarium for the whole world to see how scientific and exact the description of the structure of the universe so that eventually we'll be able to figure out how to get out of this universe and go back to Godhead. So, if you don't mind, I will read the summary study of the chapter, and then we'll go to this first 4 verses. Mostly the verses are very self-explanatory. Some of them they don't have purports, some of them they have purports. So I think we're still going to go this quickly. Om Ajnana-Tirandasya Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshuru-Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Shri Chaitanya-Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayambhuva Kadamayam Jadakrishna-Nanditam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Juta-Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanitam Tam Shajivam Sadhvitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Radha Sri Vishakam-Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanusite Deve Pranamami Hari Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kipasindhuvyavescha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare studying the structure of the universe. In this chapter, there is a description of various islands, beginning with Lakshadweep and the oceans that surround them. There is also a description of the location and dimensions of the mountain known as Loka Loka. The island of Lakshadweep, which is twice as broad as Jambudweep, is surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The master of this island is H.H.B.A.Janardan, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyabrata. The island is divided into 7 regions, each with a mountain and a large river. The second island is called Salma Didweep. It is surrounded by an ocean of liquor and is 3,200,000 miles wide, twice as wide as Lakshadweep. The master of this island is H.H.B.A.Janardan, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyabrata. Like Lakshadweep, this island is also divided into 7 regions, each with a mountain and a very large river. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Chandra Atma. The third island, which is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter and is also divided into 7 regions, is called Kusadweepa. Its master is Hiranyareta, another son of Maharaj Priyabrata, and its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Agni, the fire god. The width of this island is 6,400,000 miles, or in other words, twice the width of Salma Didweepa. The fourth island, Kronchadweepa, which is surrounded by an ocean of milk, is 12,800,000 miles wide and is also divided, like the others, into 7 regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. The master of this island is Grita Prishtha, another son of Maharaj Priyabrata. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of water. The fifth island, Sakadweepa, which is 25,600,000 miles wide, is surrounded by an ocean of yogurt. Its master is Medha Tiji, another son of Maharaj Priyabrata. It is also divided into 7 regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. Its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Vayu, air. The sixth island, Pushkaradweepa, which is twice as wide as the previous island, is surrounded by an ocean of clear water. Its master is Vidhihotra, another son of Maharaj Priyabrata. The island is divided in 2 by a large mountain named Manasotara. The inhabitants of this island worship Swayambhu, another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Beyond Pushkadradweepa, there are 2 islands, one always lit by the sunshine and the other always dark. Between them is a mountain called Loka Loka, which is situated 1 billion miles from the edge of the universe. Lord Narayana, expanding his opulence, resides upon this mountain. The area beyond Loka Loka mountain is called Aloka Varsha, and beyond Aloka Varsha is the pure destination of persons who desire liberation. Vertically, the sun globe is situated just in the middle of the universe, in Antariksha, the space between Burloka and Bhubarloka. The distance between the sun and the circumference of Angada Golaka, the globe of the universe, is estimated to be 25 koti yojanas, or 2 billion miles. Because the sun enters the universe and divides the sky, it is known as Martanda. And because it is produced by Hiranyagarbha, the body of Bhimatattva, it is also called Hiranyagarbha. Very interesting. If you want to go to any of these planets, you're free to go. Planet of the liquors, but not the same liquor as we found here in the middle planetary systems. No shortage of ghee. There's here clarified butter, ocean and yogurt. What else do you remember? Milk. What else? Liquor. Liquor, we already mentioned that. In some places, there's an ocean of sugarcane also. You want sugar cane? You can go there. Okay, now we're going to read from text 1 to text 4. Text 1. Ataparam laksadinam pramana laksana samstanato varsa vibhaga upaparnyate. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami said, "Hereafter I shall describe the dimensions, characteristics, and forms of the 6 islands, beginning with the island of Laksha. Jambudipoyam yavat pramana vistarastavata sarodhyana paravestito yata miro jambokyena labho dadhadir avotato Visalena lakshayena pariksivito yata purika babhyo pavanena laksho jambu pramano viphakyakaro hiranmaya udito yatragnir upaste saptajivastasya dipate priyavrata maja idmajiva samvipam sapta varsani vivajya sapta varsana madhya atmadvedya akalavya swayam atma yogina pararama. Translation. As Sumeri mountain, the Sumeru, is surrounded by Jambudweep, Jambudweep is also surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The breadth of Jambudweep is 100,000 yojanas, or 800,000 miles. And the breadth of the salt water is the same. As a moat around a fort is sometimes surrounded by a garden-like forest, the saltwater ocean surrounding Jambudweep is itself surrounded by Lakshadweep. The breadth of Lakshadweep is twice that of the saltwater ocean, in other words, 200,000 yojanas, or 1,600,000 miles. On Lakshadweepa, there is a tree shining like gold, and as tall as a jambu tree on Jambudweep. And its roots is a fire with 7 flames. It is because this tree is a Plaksha tree that the island is called Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep was governed by Idmajiva, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. He endowed the 7 islands with the names of his 7 sons, divided the islands among the sons, and then retired from active life to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. So, the verse today, text 3 and 4. Sivam yavasam subhadram shantakshimam amritam abhyam iti varsanitesu giriyo nadyascha H.H.B.A.Janardan Manikuta Vajrakuta Indraseno Jutismam Suparno Hiranyatispo Niganda Iti Sukitu Saila Arunanima Gimsa Savitri Sutta Vataritam Bala Satyam Bala Iti Mahanadyan Yasam Jalupasparsana Viduna Rajastamo Sohamsa Padongo Yubhana Satchanga Samyas Chatparo Varna Sahastirusho Vidudupama Sadarsana Prajanana Swargadvanam Traya Vidyaya Bhagavantam Trimayam Suryam Atmanam Yajante. Okay, we can do the word for word. This is only a part, so it's no use for you to repeat. Please repeat after me. Shiva, Shiva, Yavasha, Yavasha, Subhadra, Subhadra, Shantam, Santa, Ksheman, Ksheman, Amritam, Amrita, Abhayam, Abhaya, Iti, thus, Varshani, the tracts of land, according to the names of the 7 sons, Teshu, in them, Hiraya, mountains, Nadyacha, and rivers, Sapta, 7, Eva, indeed, Avignata, are known, Manikuta, Manikuta, Vajrakuta, Vajrakuta, Indrasena, Indrasena, Jyotisman, Jyotisman, Suparna, Suparna, Hiranyastiva, Hiranyastiva, Megamala, Megamala, Iti, thus, Setu Salai, Setu Saila, the ranges of mountains marking the borders of the Varsas. Aruna, Aruna, Nrimna, Nrimna, Agirashi, Agirashi, Savitri, Savitri, Suktavata, Suktavata, Ritambara, Ritambara, Satchambara, Satchambara, Iti, thus, Mahanadya, very large rivers, Yasam, of which, Jala Upas Parshana, simply by touching the water, Viduta, washed off, Raja Tamasaha, whose modes of passion and ignorance, Hamsa, Hamsa, Patanga, Patanga, Urvayana, Urvayana, Satyanga, Satyanga, Samya, name, Chatpara, 4, Varna, caste or divisions of men, Sahasra, Ayusha, living for 1,000 years, Vibhuda Upama, similar to the demigods, Sandarshana, in having very beautiful forms, Prajana, and in producing children. Swargadwaram, the gateway to the heavenly planets. Traya Vidya, by performing ritualistic ceremonies according to Vedic principles. Bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Traimayam, established in the Vedas. Surya Atmanam, the Super Soul, represented by the Sun God. Yajante, they worship. Now the translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The 7 islands, or Varshas, are named according to the names of those 7 sons. Shiva, Yavasha, Subhadra, Shanta, Kshema, Amrita, and Abhaya. In those 7 tracts of land, there are 7 mountains and 7 rivers. The mountains are named Maniputa, Vajraputa, Indrasena, Jyotisman, Suparna, Hiranyashtiva, and Megamala. And the rivers are named Aruna, Nimna, Agirasi, Shavitri, Shuktabhata, Ritambara, and Satchambara. Remember any of those names? Or just remember any of one name? Some of these names are given by Srila Prabhupada to his disciples. Maybe in the future when you have disciples, you can give any of these names also to them. One can immediately be free from the material contamination by touching or bathing in those rivers. And the forecast of people who live in Lakshadweep, the Hamsas, Patangas, Urjavanas, and Satyangas, purify themselves in that way. They are beautiful. So the inhabitants of Lakshadweep live for 1,000 years. They are beautiful like the demigods, and they also begot children like the demigods. By completely performing the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, and by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead as represented by the Sun God, they attain the Sun, which is a heavenly planet. According to general understanding, there are originally 3 deities: Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. And people with a poor fund of knowledge consider Lord Vishnu no better than Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. This conclusion, however, is invalid. As stated in the Vedas, Istaputang bahuda janamanam vishmam vibhate upanasya nagitat evagnistat vayostat suryastat uchandrama agni sarvadahivata. This means that the Supreme Lord, who accepts and enjoys the results of very ritualistic ceremonies, who supplies the necessities of all living beings or entities, Eko Bahunam Yogi Dadaki Kama, and who is the central point of all creation is Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu expands as the demigods known as Agni, Vayu, Surya, and Chandra, who are simply parts and parcels of his body. Lord Krishna says in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9:23, Yepi anya devata bhakta yajanti sadayam gita tepi mam eva konteya yajanti avidhi purpakam. Which means devotees who worship the demigods with firm faith worship me also, but not according to regulative principles. In other words, if one worships the demigods but does not understand the relationship between the demigods and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his worship is irregular. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 24, Aham hi sarva yajnanam mukta cha prabhur eva cha. I am the only enjoyer of ritualistic ceremonies. It may be argued that demigods are as important as Lord Vishnu, because the names of the demigods are different names of Vishnu. This, however, is not a sound conclusion, for it is contradicted in the Vedic literatures. The Vedas declare, Chandrama manaso jatas chaksho surya ajayata, shrutradhayas chapranas, chamukhan agnir ajayata, Narayanat Brahma, Narayanat Rudro Jayate, Narayanat Prajapati Jayate, Narayanat Indra Jayate, Narayanat Asto Vasago Jayante, Narayanat Ikadasa Rudra Jayante. The demigods of the moon, Chandra, came from the mind of Narayana, and the sun god came from his eyes. The controlling deities of hearing and the life air came from Narayana, and the controlling deity of fire was generated from his mouth. Prajapati, Lord Brahma, came from Narayana, Indra came from Narayana, and the 8 Vasus, the 11 expansions of Lord Shiva, and the 12 Adityas also came from Narayana. In the Smriti Vedic literature, it is also said, Brahma Sambhus Tataivargas Chandramas Cha Satakrathu Evam Adyas Tataivanye Krishna Vaishnava Tejasa Jagat Karya Vasanitu Vijuyamte Tejasa Videjascha Tisarve Panchatvam Upayanti Te. Brahma, Shambhu, Surya, and Indra are all merely products of the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also true of the many other demigods whose names are not mentioned here. When the cosmic manifestation is annihilated, these different expansions of Narayana's potencies will merge into Narayana. In other words, all these demigods will die, like you and me. No, that is not included there. I just so to keep you awake. Their leading force will be withdrawn and they will merge into Narayana. Therefore, it should be concluded that Lord Vishnu, not Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a government officer is sometimes accepted as the entire government, although he is actually but a departmental manager, so that the demigods, having achieved power of attorney from Vishnu, act on his behalf, although they are not as powerful as he. All the demigods must work under the orders of Vishnu. Therefore he said, Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasava Pritya. The only master is Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, and all others are his obedient servants, who act exactly according to his orders. The distinction between Lord Vishnu and the demigods is also expressed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 25. Yanti deva pratadevang yanti vajjinu imam. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, whereas the worshippers of Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu go to the planets in Vaikuntha. These are the statements of the Smriti. Therefore, the idea that Lord Vishnu is on the same level as the demigods is in contradiction to the Shastras. The demigods are not supreme. The supremacy of the demigods is dependent on the mercy of Lord Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna. Thus end the purport from the 5th canto, chapter 20, text 3 and 4. Any questions? The demigods are empowered living entities like you and I. They're not different than you and I. The only difference is that they perform some kind of pious activities or austerities that they're put into the position as one of the managers. I'll give an example here. It's like in the government. There are departmental managers, like in India. There is a department of or ministry, different sections. So there are 33 million demigods. 33 million. There's a lot. And each and every one of them has a specific functions in order the universe to go on, to function. Without those demigods, they are actually representatives of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the one who maintains, but he doesn't have to work. Lord Brahma has to work to create. Lord Shiva, for destruction, he has to do his work. But Lord Vishnu, no, he's just lying down in the coastal ocean. And all the work is being done. They're given the power of authority. So those who want some material benefits, and they want quick material benefits, which this is the nature of the material world. They want to fulfill their material desires. Then they can worship either one of these 33 million demigods. If one wants to increase his learning or her learning, one can worship Saraswati. If one wants to become free from disease, one can worship Surya Dev. Demons, they worship demigods. Now devotees also, they worship demigods. How is that? You heard of Radharani worshiping Surya? You heard the Brajavasis, they worship Lord Shiva also one time. They went to Vrindavan, which is somewhere in Gujarat. Lord Shiva, Vaishnavana Shambhu. So it was Shivaratri. So one time, they don't do this all the time. So one time they went there also, Nanda Maharaj and the Brajavasis. They went in Ambikavan to worship Lord Shiva and Ambika, the consort of Lord Shiva. Sita Devi also. She prayed to Ganga, Mata, I will worship you if you let Ram come back, return to Ayodhya. Also Lord Ram, he worshipped Lord Shiva to build a cottage, before building cottage. Devotees also, when they do yajna, they worship who first? Ganapati. So what is the difference here now? The materialists, they also worship these different demigods for material benefits. It says in the Shastras that those who want to worship the demigods for some material benefits, Lord Krishna inspired them from within to worship certain demigods. And the demigods who's given them the specific benediction are also inspired by the Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the overseer and he is the permitter. It says in the Bhagavad Gita. We're studying that 13th chapter. The demigods, actually they don't have their own power. The power is given by the Supreme Lord Himself. Now the difference between the materialists and the devotees worshipping the demigods is that the materialists, their intelligence is very less. They're called less intelligence because they don't know that the benefits that they get from worshipping these different demigods are coming from Krishna Himself. They have this misconception. In Shivaratri, they also do so much tapasya. They don't eat any grains. They are up all night. But for a very purpose, for their own benefit. The gopis also worship Katyayani. After Kartik Damodarmas, the month Srimati Radharani. After that, they worship Katyayani to obtain Krishna as their husband. So, the devotees, it says in the Nectar of Devotion also that if we worship Ganapati, for eliminating the obstacles on the path of devotional service, then that is okay. The one time, some devotees, when they read this, they asked Prabhupada if they can worship Ganapati in Chicago temple. Yeah, he said, yes, provided you give me so much gold every day. So much money. In our temples, you will not see any demigods worship. In some places I've seen in the West, they have also some demigods in the temple. But they're not at the same level. They're in the small corners or not very prominent. Because the devotees know that Krishna is the supreme. Krishna is the source of everything. So they don't equate. Now the tendency of these materialists is that they equate Lord Vishnu with his different demigods. And that is considered as impersonal. It is a big offense to equate Lord Vishnu with Chandra or Ganesh or Surya. These demigods, actually, the pose they have can be obtained by any one of us because it is a pose. It is not there eternally. The material benefits that they give, because their pose is also temporary, the material benefits that they give is also temporary. And the person who's asking these material benefits is also temporary. I mean, the body will die also. So the material benefits that one will get has limited. Unlike when the devotees, when they pray to these demigods for spiritual progress or to get closer to Krishna, the result is eternal. So there is a difference. Only devotees know this. Others who been worshiping demigods. Sometimes we see this also. And this is very touchy. When we go visit some of our new devotees, they have everybody in their altar. All the demigods and Lord Krishna and Gopal, everybody. We have to be very expert to explain to them this philosophy. Not immediately say, oh no, you're in Maya. This is not proper. We have to be extra careful in order to explain them this Siddhanta of how Krishna is Ete Chamsa Kalapamsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that he is the source of everyone. Everything emanates from him, and that this demigod's worship that they're doing is actually, if they equate with Krishna, Krishna does not accept. Actually, those who worship the demigods and acknowledging the demigods as the supreme, and they offer foodstuffs, the demigods does not accept this. We have in, is it in Nandagram, after offering foodstuffs to Krishna Balaram, Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj, they will offer to Lord Shiva. In order to enter Vrindavan, Lord Shiva is the Dipal. He is the kind of like security guard. So we should pray also to Lord Shiva in order for us to enter Vrindavan. You cannot enter Vrindavan without the mercy of Lord Shiva. In Mayapur also, they have a deity in Jagannath Temple. The deity of, is that Durga Devi? Who was there? Is that correct? Krishna Premi Prabhu? Lord Shiva also? Shivantadvi, yes. So, if our intentions actually especially meant for Krishna's pleasure, yes, it is alright to worship these different demigods. However, if there is a confusion, it's not possible. Krishna will not be able to become so much happy. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7. And here, Chatur Vida Bhajante Mam Jana Sukritino Juna Arto Jijnasu Artati Jnani Chaparatarsava. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for the knowledge of the Absolute. So these 4 men could be considered as devotees as well if they go towards Krishna, even though they have material desires in the beginning. On the other hand, if one only goes to the demigods and at the same time wanted to attain the absolute truth, it is not possible. They're considered as pasandis. They're considered as offenders. It says, text 21 of chapter 7, Yo yam tanum bhakta sadhayavam chitu ichati tasya chalam sradham tam eva vidadami aham. I am in everyone's heart as a super soul. As soon as one desires to worship the demigods, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to some particular deity. See how How merciful, how kind the Supreme Lord, that all of our desires is being fulfilled. We're given so much independence that even if we don't want to worship Krishna, we just want to worship the demigods, He will even permit that. And this is what makes Krishna perfect. If Krishna did not give us this independence to choose the way we want to worship a particular deity or demigod, then Krishna is not complete. And that's how Krishna is God. If He says, no, you cannot worship anybody, you should only worship me, then He is not God. It's amazing how He made it in such a way that all of our desires can be fulfilled, but ultimately He says, just give this all up. Just surrender unto me, and then you will be happy. Okay, you can surrender, or you can give your faith to a certain demigod, but you will not be satisfied. It's not possible. But if you want that, okay, go ahead, you can do it. But ultimately, He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharmam Parityajya, just give up everything and just surrender unto me. Ultimately, Krishna proclaims His supremacy amongst these different demigods. So somehow or other, we are very fortunate after traveling in so many lifetimes, so many species of life, so many universes. We come to the point where we are worshipping the most beautiful form of Sri Radha Shyama Sundar, Krishna Balaram Immortalized. Manusyaham sahasreschu kaschit yatatik siddhi. There are many, many lifetimes. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanadhamam prapajante nam sataiva budamiham. Vasudeva sarvamidhi samahatma sudurlava. Yes, very rare soul. So, in the neophyte stage, we may have material desires. That is not unnatural, that is normal to have material desires. So we don't have to go to the demigods. If you have material desire, was that sarvakama? Akama sarvakama va mokshakama udharati. Whatever, if you have so much material desires, no material desires, just approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, we are given a little bit of description of these different planetary systems. And it's open for everyone according to one's desires. One time Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that most of my disciples, they just want to go to the heavenly planets. They just want to be comfortable in the heavenly planets. To really attain the supreme destination, the spiritual world, is not so easy. There's so many obstacles that will come into our way, and the more we progress in Krishna consciousness, the more Krishna will test us, the more obstacles become greater and greater at the same time. It's not that only neophytes has problems. Even those who are almost reached to the level of Krishna consciousness, they will have or be given some test. Then after we surpass that, everything is smooth. But there is no difference whether you are in the material world or in the spiritual world. spiritual walk is easy to attain after we pass through all of these different tests. It's like this different planetary system. It says that the soul is given a chance, even if you reach up to Brahmaloka. You'll be asked, you want to go back home, back to Godhead, or stay around? You want to stay around? Fine. Come back again to this Vrichaloka, to this middle planetary systems. There is the only difference between the heavenly planets and here in Vrichaloka is that here in the earthly planets, we're given a chance to perform bhakti. In the heavenly planets, it's very difficult to perform bhakti because the material sense of enjoyment is so much so that it bewilders the soul. He forgot the main purpose of human form of life. Here there is duality. So we can see, we can learn. But up there in the heavenly planets, only enjoying. One day one will die also in the heavenly planets, but it's not like the dying here of cancer, let's say. Old age. Over there you just collapse. There's no such thing as going to a hospital and putting, these things, what do you call them? Salines. There's no hospital in the heavenly planets. But there is death there also. Death is everywhere in the 14 planetary systems. But here, death is so painful that if you are intelligent enough, no one wants to die anymore. No one wants to have to experience the same sufferings of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. So that is the main difference. So we're given a chance again. Somehow or other, our fortune is here. Prabhupada gave us this fortune to continue on, practice this devotional service, especially for those who live in Vrindavan, or else in the whole three planetary system you can perform bhakti to the highest degree. Nowhere else. The whole planet, earthly planet, is all suffering, full of miseries. Somehow we're so privileged, so fortunate that we are here. If you are here, you practically forget the whole world, what's going on. But the whole world is suffering. We just have to become stronger and stronger in our Krishna consciousness, increase our faith towards the holy name, towards the Srimad Bhagavatam, towards serving the Vaishnavas, become stronger and stronger, and ultimately help others as well. To become strong and not able to help others in Krishna consciousness is not as it's not wanted. It's alright, but it's not what is wanted, because our movement is a preaching movement. We're meant to help others as well. So we'll read for the next few days the structure of the universe. And let's see and find out more these different descriptions of different varshas for islands and oceans and rivers and go beyond this. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Yes, give a mic. Can you please give this mic? Hare Krishna.
In the Jiva Goswami's Brahma Samhita, he mentions that Srimati Radharani as Adi Durga. This is just a comment.
Yes, she is the source of Shakti. There in the spiritual world, there is also we call Shambhu, who is a Vishnu Tattva. There are three kinds of Lord Shiva. Sadashiva, Shambhu, and then there is Lord Shiva, who is also the source of all 11 Rudras. So yes, Srimati Radharani is the source of Lakshmi Devi. She is the original source of Shakti, pleasure potency. So we can worship her. Also, of course, she is the most worshipable deity, Srimati Radharani. Any other questions? Yes, Prabhu? Can you please pass the microphone?
Why would Srila Prabhupada put that condition that you can...
Speak in the mic.
Prabhupada put the condition that you can worship Ganesh or some other demigod only if you give yourself so much money?
Because he knows that they will not worship Ganesh in the right way, in the proper way. And this is individual actually, individually. We cannot put the demigods in our altars. I've never seen any temples anywhere. But I've seen some devotees in their personal altars. They have Lord Shiva. They have Ganapati in their personal Ganesh. That is personal, your personal prayer to those demigods. But collectively, they will misunderstand us. The general public will not understand. Well, and Shivaratri also, Prabhupada says, yes, we should also worship Lord Shiva, glorify Him. On that day, that is our way of giving respect. Yes, we respect everyone, but we don't worship them. That is the difference. Prabhupada gave that meaning of bhajanti, bhaja, worship. Worship is only for Krishna, not for demigods. Okay? So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.